Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Jai Hind, your daily boost. Tithi, Nakshatra and important anniversaries. A spiritual and historical insight of 7th January 2025, Tuesday, Bengali date 22 পৌষ 1431. As per Benivadavsil Ponjika, today's Tithi is Sukla Ashtami and up to 1623 hours and after the Sukla Navami. Today's Nakshatra is Revati Nakshatra and up to 1816 hours and after that Ussini Nakshatra. Today is 7th day of the year. There are then 358 days left in 2025. Today is first Tuesday of 2025. Today is Masik Durgashtami. Durgashtami fasting is observed every month during Ashtami Tithi of Shukla Paksha. On this day, devotees of Goddess Durga worship her and observe day-long fast. The most significant Durgashtami, which is known as Mahashtami, falls in month of Ashin during 9 days Sarodiya Navaratri festivities. Durgashtami is also spelled as Durgashtami and Masik Durgashtami is also known as Mas Durgashtami or Monthly Durgashtami. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Nikola Tesla, 10th July 1856 to 7th January 1943. Nikola Tesla was a Serbian-American engineer, futurist, and inventor. He is known for his contributions to the design of modern alternating current electricity supply system. Born and raised in the Austrian Empire, Tesla first studied engineering and physics in the 1870s without receiving a degree. He then gained practical experience in the early 1880s working in telephony and at Continental Edison in the new electric power industry. In 1884, he immigrated to the United States, where he became a naturalized citizen. He worked for a short time in the Edison Machine Works in New York City before he struck out on his own. With the help of partners to finance and market his ideas, Tesla set up laboratories and companies in New York to develop a range of electrical and mechanical devices. His AC induction motor and related polyphase AC patents, licensed by Westinghouse Electric in 1888, earned him a considerable amount of money and became the cornerstone of the polyphase system which that company eventually marketed. Attempting to develop inventions he could patent and market, Tesla conducted a range of experiments with mechanical oscillators and generators, electrical discharge tubes, and early X-ray imaging. He also built a wirelessly controlled boat, one of the first ever exhibited. Tesla became well known as an inventor and demonstrated his achievements to celebrities and wealthy patrons at his lab, and was noted for his showmanship at public lectures. Throughout the 1990s, Tesla pursued his ideas for wireless lighting and worldwide wireless electric power distributions in his high voltage, high frequency power experiments in New York and Colorado Springs. In 1893, he made pronouncements on the possibility of wireless communication with his devices. Tesla tried to put these ideas to practical use in his unfinished Wardenclyffe Tower project, an intercontinental wireless communication and power transmitter, but ran out of funding before he could complete it. After Wardenclyffe, Tesla experimented with a series of inventions in the 1910s and 1920s with varying degrees of success. Having spent most of his money, Tesla lived in a series of New York hotels, leaving behind unpaid bills. He died in New York City in January 1943. Tesla's work fell into relative obscurity following his death until 1960 when the General Conference on Weights and Measures named the International System of Units SI measurement of magnetic flux density that Tesla in his honor. There has been a resurgence in popular interest in Tesla since the 1990s. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Vladimir Prelog, 23rd July 1906 to 7th January 1998. Vladimir Prilog was a Croatian Swiss organic chemist who received the 1975 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his research into the stereochemistry of organic molecules and reactions. Prilog was born and spent his infancy in Sarajevo and youth in Zagreb, Osijek, and Prague. He later lived and worked in Prague, Zagreb, and Zurich. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Hirohito, 29th April 1901 to 7th January 1989. Hirohito, posthumously honored as Emperor Showa, was the 124th Emperor of Japan according to the traditional order of succession, reigning from 1926 until his death in 1989. He was the longest reigning Japanese emperor and one of the world's longest reigning monarchs. As emperor during the Showa era, Hirohito oversaw the rise of Japanese militarism, Japan's expansionism in Asia, the outbreak of the Second Sino-Japanese War and World War II, and the post-war Japanese economic miracle. Hirohito was the first child of Crown Prince Yoshihito and Crown Princess Sadako, later Emperor Taisho and Empress Taimei. After his father's accession to the throne in 1912, Hirohito was proclaimed Crown Prince and heir apparent in 1916. In 1921, he made an official visit to Great Britain and Western Europe, marking the first time a Japanese crown prince traveled abroad. Owing to his father's ill health, Hirohito became his regent that year. In 1924, he married Princess Nagaoka Kuni, with whom he had 7 children. Upon his father's death in 1926, Hirohito became emperor, serving as head of the state during the 1930s as the military increasingly dominated Japanese politics. When Japan's Kuomintang army staged the Mukden incident as a pretext for its invasion of Manchuria in 1931, Hirohito made no objection. Following the onset of the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, tensions steadily grew between Japan and the United States once Hirohito formally sanctioned his government's decision to go to war against the US and its allies on 1st December 1941. The Pacific War began 1 week later with Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor as well as on other US and British colonies in the region. After atomic bombs were dropped on Japan and the Soviet Union invaded Japanese occupied Manchuria, Hiroto called upon his country's forces to surrender in a radio broadcast in 15 August 1945. The extent of his involvement in military decision making and wartime culpability remain subjects of historical debate. Following the surrender of Japan, Emperor Hirohito was not prosecuted for war crimes at the Tokyo War Crimes Tribunal, even though the Japanese had waged war in his name. The head of the Allied occupation of the country, Douglas MacArthur, believed that a cooperative emperor would facilitate peaceful occupation and other US post-war objectives. MacArthur therefore excluded any evidence from the tribunal which could have incriminated Hirohito or other members of the royal family. In 1946, Hirohito was pressured by the Allies into renouncing his divinity. Under Japan's new constitution drafted by US officials, his role as emperor was redefined in 1947 as the symbol of the state and of the unity of the people. He died in 1989 and was succeeded as emperor by his eldest son Akihito. Thank you very much for your patience.